What's good, YouTube? Manipulation Tactics, episode 10. How to test people. Are you being tested? And what you should test people for. So, pretty much off rip, bro. You're getting tested by people as soon as you meet them all the time. They're testing you for respect. They're testing to see how far they can go with you. They're testing to see what kind of relationship this is going to be. And ultimately, it's always happening whether people are conscious of it or not, right? But in this video, social engineering, manipulation tactics, how to keep leverage in relationships, how to just extend relationships for use, whether that be connection, monetary, opportunistic, goddamn material, validation, whatever the fuck you're trying to get. I'm gonna tell you how testing people is beneficial, and I'll talk about just it in general. But so pretty much, like I said, people are constantly testing for shit like respect and boundaries, right? So if you look at all the other videos, because we're at episode 10 now, there's certain things you can do to people to keep leverage and continue gaining insight for your motive. And like I said, this is manipulation tactics. And one thing I want to say is manipulation is when you have a goal that you want. Like you're determining that you're going to get something from this person. Versus these are things that also just happen, but if you should do them to genuine relationships, which I'm going to speak on, and what I have spoken on in other videos, is that you don't have a motive in genuine relationships. But if you're trying to manipulate a situation, a social situation, relationship, this video. So pretty much you're constantly getting tested, right, for respect and boundaries and shit. But when you're trying to manipulate some shit and use somebody, you should be testing them to see their exposure. Because one thing about manipulating people or situations is you need to limit the exposure that you offer of yourself. Like how much of yourself you expose will determine how long this shit lasts and what you can get out of it, pretty much. Because it's like, if you tell them too much, they might grow a distaste for you, and then you're growing a distaste that you didn't even know was happening because you never did the due diligence to manipulate the situation and get insight and data for what they might, you know what I'm saying, like scoff at or not type shit. And that naturally just grows distaste because, like I said in other videos, everybody just wants to be validated, right? Right, you guys just watch this shit. But so if you're manipulating a situation, the type of test that you can do is maybe where their care lies. Like you can see what type of things they care about, what things are they willing to cross lines on, like, you know what I'm saying, like where you're willing to, when you're trying to gain some shit, you need to know all this shit because it just helps your positioning and what you decide to react to, what you decide to share, what type of things you should bring up, how you should go about it, right? Because if you're just being somebody and you're trying to manipulate the shit and gain leverage and you know nothing about them, you're nowhere. So it's like this whole thing is gaining insight. And so you would ask questions to gain insight to further develop or decide on the actions and reactions that you're giving and the information that you're sharing. Whether that be certain information about yourself that you don't want to share because you know this person will grow distaste for it, but that would be something you learned because you tested them and asked them questions about themselves. So like, let's say like a boundary test that some people might do on you is like, they might see how willing or not willing you are to participate in certain shit by maybe bringing it up as a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of them testing where you sit at in this type of thing. You know, and I have to always bring it down to something simple so you can just relate it, right? But let's say somebody starts talking about football and this person doesn't really like react or give any fucking, you know what I'm saying? Or even this is you giving the test. You could bring up football to see how they like football. They don't even know anything about football. They don't want to talk about football. Like, they're trying to switch the topic. Why the fuck would you keep talking about football? You know what I'm saying? Replace football with anything else, a topic, anything. Like, they're naturally just going to want to interact with you less. And how is that going to help your manipulation or social positioning? You're not going to get upwards. They're just going to get away pretty much. With this insight and like these tests that you do to see what type of things they care about by bringing up certain topics to talk about, or maybe joke about things in a certain way and then based on how they react, you can tell how like susceptible they are to this topic and that topic, or how do they react when they're talking about something maybe emotional for them. Like, how are they acting? Like, how are they carrying it outwards? You know what I'm saying? Maybe that can like control like how maybe you put emotions outwards. Maybe you show more than they do. They might gain sympathy, but you don't know that. Or maybe they're super dramatic and you know that you need to, you know what I'm saying? Just asking them things, just testing them in every regard, pretty much, to gain data. Versus when you're testing people in genuine relationships, or when you're testing people for a real thing, you're kind of testing trust. You're testing like I guess like consistency, like just shit like that naturally. You're just naturally doing. Because if you're about to be friends with somebody and you don't know them, how do you know they're a good friend if like y'all don't actually like check up on each other, y'all don't actually plan to do shit, like this person actually doesn't keep their word with you, they actually always make excuses. You're pretty much doing tests to see how they react, if this person would be a good friend, or the shit they talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not literally doing that because it's a genuine connection, and you're just like seeing how these people are. You're just finding each other out and whatnot. But when you're trying to manipulate a situation, you have an intent to gain something. So you're doing the same tests, but you're just going about it differently in what your intention is, onto like you're trying to collect data to know how to react or what to not react around them, or know what to bring up or know what to not bring up, or what you know that will gain their interest so they'll want to do some shit. You feel me? Like, you're just collecting data by testing them, and they're constantly testing you, maybe to see how far you'll go to do something, or they might be testing you to fucking see like what type of shit you talk about. Maybe they might talk about women a certain way, maybe they might talk about men a certain way if you're a girl, or if you're a boy, whatever the fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are constantly seeing that you're new to meeting. They're constantly doing shit to see like where you lie and the conversations they can have, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just the type of topics you talk about. Like, when you go to work and if you smoke, like, you know what I'm saying? At some point it's like type shit, and then y'all kind of become cooler. But it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It changes your place and shit based on how you react and what you can relate on and what you know that they agree or don't disagree with. You know what I'm saying? Like, the smoking shit is a good ass example, because you meet somebody who smokes and like y'all become cooler or some shit. Like, because you're like, oh, like we're employees here, but like I'll be doing like whatever other type of shit you do. You know, that's the best example I could think about it. Or maybe like this person likes sports at work and you find out and y'all become cooler. You know what I'm saying? So like, you're asking people shit so you can find out, so y'all can become cooler, or they can feel cooler with you. And then now you have leverage in the shit because you separate yourself based on the data you collect and then what you decide to share and speak on and elaborate on. And I'm not saying do some shit where like you make up shit to talk about just because you found out that they had interest or they don't have interest in shit. But it'll just help you better like limit your exposure to garner leverage in this relationship. Because otherwise you're not gonna know. You're just gonna be going like with the natural flow of it. But if you find shit out about them, that's Twitch like shit. But if you find shit out about them, then now you know just what to interact with them with to constantly gain some sort of leverage in that shit. Like, literally, you know, to ask them about, like, you know what they like being asked about and shit like that. You just gain data and insight to this person to just make it more beneficial for you, make them feel more comfortable, just manipulating the situation to gain insight, manipulating the situation to fucking, because I said before, that's my ultimate goal. Like, I just love analyzing myself and analyzing people, and that's why I think I even know what the fuck I'm talking about for the most part. So like, you're manipulating the situation to get insight versus, you know what I'm saying? The manipulation part it all comes down to what your intention is, but you're just doing something for a different result. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's social engineering. And I be trying to like clarify that, but it's just good to say manipulation tactics because that's what it is. It's just manipulation, but there's such a bad stigma with that word that even if you're asking somebody shit about them to gain insight, that is manipulation. Like you're trying to do something. Even if it's just what you're supposed to do or what you're not supposed to do, it's you're manipulating it versus where it'd rather go. Like I don't really give a fuck about this, what this person has, like what their interests are and shit, if I'm just trying to get something from them or just get to understand information about them. But I'm gonna ask it so then I could just gain insight versus me naturally wanting to be like, I'm just gonna not talk, I'm just gonna shy away, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just choosing to manipulate it to at least gain insight. At least like this person is more fond of me in this setting. You know what I'm saying? So I bring up the coworker situation a lot because that's where it's happened to me the most. Like when I'm working at a place with like 15 people or some shit, like it's just hella, there's not really many real interactions that you're having. So just do that shit. And then they might take a shift for you. They might fucking bring you food, fucking, you know what I'm saying? Even with a classmate, maybe now they're like helping you more or giving you, I don't fucking know, giving you more answers, fucking like, if you're doing this for fucking, yeah, bro, you can apply this to anything really. It's just depending on what you want to do with it, but you're manipulating the situation to gain insight and leverage. And I could say just leverage or just insight, but it's the same shit depending on what you do with it. That's what I'm saying, do all these things and you'll just put yourself in a position where you're like, you're probably thought of more just in their general thought processing. Like, even if it's just a coworker, you know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, who could I ask to take my shift? They'll be like, oh, not him. Like, I fuck with him and it's the weekend, so I'm gonna ask somebody else because he's probably doing some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just gives you leverage and like people think of you more. And when it comes down to it, because you gained all this data, that's what could be that's my reason for manipulation. And then you're reacting on it. Now, you know what I'm saying? Y'all have a fucking connection where you're just doing shit to gain insight. Pretty much. And then what you decide to do with it or why you're doing this, that would even lead to what the fuck, is this manipulation or is it some genuine shit? If it's some genuine shit, this shit's already going on, but nobody has moving like nobody's goal oriented because now you're like what the fuck, you're trying to get this person to do something, like now you're manipulating them type shit. But yeah, bro, episode 10, I said 10 at the beginning of the last video, but I forgot. Beginning thumbnail. 10. Some shit. Yeah. Episode 10, bro. Next one, I'm gonna talk about genuine connections because I feel like I need to clear that up about how they're the exception and why you shouldn't do that, because then you're just gonna have all these relationships in your life. You just manipulated everything, and like now the person fucks with you more than you fuck with them, and like you're just, yeah. But yeah, bro, next episode, genuine connections and the exception. And let me know if y'all feel me, any more shit. But yeah, bro.